Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Rough Ryder knives. This is a brand made by Smoky Mountain Knife Works, and we're going to be talking about the good, the bad, and the great. And that's the part I think a lot of people miss about Rough Ryder knives is that there is a great to that side of the equation. And so, for those of you who've never bought a Rough Rider knife or are buying them now, we're going to just talk a little bit about the value of the Rough Rider knife, what it has to offer, what it's not, and alternatives to Rough Rider and other knives. And just try to give it a fair appraisal without all the hype and passion and hate. And so if you'd like to see more of that video, go ahead and check it out. Hey, welcome back to the Fortified Castle. Hi to all my viewers. Bonjour, privet, guten tag, hola, ciao, konnichiwa, and good day to my foreign viewers. And we've got a bunch of knives on the table. Most of them are Rough Ryders. There's a few other brands there, and that's for comparison sake. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So, Rough Ryder is a brand of Smoky Mountain Knife Works, and they produce some really cool looking knives. This is one of them right here. I think the first time I saw this was on Patty's Potato Peeler. Nope, I'm sorry. Uh, Knife Chats with Tobias. That's the first time I saw this model, and I just had to get it. And that's kind of the cool thing about Rough Riders is they've got some really neat and interesting knife patterns, and also um, some knife designs. There's a cool little spider crawling up a cool little web there. And I just like this. It makes me happy. It brings me joy. And that's one of the cool things about Rough Rider. And so, incidentally, you don't get that with this knife, case knife, and you don't get it with this knife, not really. And you don't get it with this knife. And so there's a special niche here that Rough Rider provides. And that's that guy looking for something different that's really cool. And that's what he's looking for. He's not really looking for the best knife ever produced in the world. And he's not looking for a knife that's going to last until the sun dies out. You know, he's just looking for some interesting variation, some cool stuff that you don't see in other knives. And that's really the niche that Rough Rider fills. And so my first Rough Rider, let me get that. All right, so this was my first Rough Rider. And the reason I got this is I was looking for an example of ram's horn. And this is not genuine ram's horn, by the way, but it's a good representation of ram's horn. And as I looked for genuine ram's horn, it's really only used in custom knives, and they cost a lot of money, $5, $6, $7, $800. And so for a couple bucks, I have a nice example of ram's horn in my collection, and that's why I bought that. Since that time, I bought a marbles also, which is I like this representation better. And this is, I don't believe this is genuine ram's horn. Maybe though, maybe. I can't really tell. But anyhow, that's why you buy a knife like this, right? Is to have an example of something that you may not be able to get, afford to get, something that's not within your budget. And so, what is my experience with this knife? Well, you know, it's got significant gapping in the knife, It's pretty apparent. You can see it right there on top, all the way down. But otherwise, there's no stepping on the back. The polish and shine is good. The action is good on this knife. There's no blade wrap, and there's no blade rub. And it locks in nice with no stepping, no up and down movement, no side to side play. It's a good knife. And you could take this knife out and use it, no problem. And so that's all part of the good with Rough Ryder. The bad is the consistency in these knives is not the greatest. So as I've collected these knives, I have some really good examples of Rough Ryders, and then I have some that are not so good. And I've tried to kind of determine how Rough Ryder does that. You know, do they make, are all their sunfishes excellent quality? Are some excellent and some not? Is it the handle materials? I mean, how do you determine which ones are good and which ones are bad? And I haven't been able to determine that, so I don't see any pattern whatsoever. So when you talk about consistency, you can say, oh, well, you know, other knives aren't consistent either. You know, this is a good example. You know, case knives. The past 5 case knives I got were perfect. There was nothing wrong with the knives. They were made exactly the way that they should have been made. You could ding the fact that their top squares are a little rough right there. You can see they've tried to clean that up a little bit. But I mean, they were perfect. This knife is not. It has gapping in it. And this knife here, I just got, and it has gapping in it. Otherwise, the knives are nice. And when you look at this, okay, it's kind of hard to see the gapping in this. Maybe you can see it right there. And that's all on this knife. There's only a little bit of gapping right here up at the top. So, you know, case in that regard is not consistent either. And other knife brands aren't as well. So the ugly part of these knives here is, like I mentioned, the consistency of them. But you can apply that to other knives as well if you're honest about it. This knife here, I like this tiger pattern right here, and it's called the tiger pattern. It's different. It's unusual. I like the coloring, but the knife itself is not the best example, and so there's no snap there in the blade. If you push it, you can get some. Can't even get it when you push it. And the other blades are really soft too. So this is like a 2-pull, little tiny click there. And even what Rough Ryder usually does really well is you have a good transition there, and you can see how far up that blade is. So I suspect that this blade just wasn't manufactured well. You know, this knife, it you know, just does not have the normal quality that a Rough Ryder has. And it's kind of disappointing because I like the knife. But then you get other knives like this, and it's just awesome. And I was really happy with this. So copper bolsters, copper pins, copper liners. Copper is expensive, and you don't see it on knives a lot. And when you do, it's usually on a Boker, and they cost $180 or more. And this knife has really good action. It's made really well. Very minimal. I think there was some gapping up here when it was open. Very minimal gapping. Really nice knife for $10. I think it was, actually, I think this was $16 is what it cost me. And I like it. So that's the ugly part of a Rough Rider is the consistencyism. You really can't say, well, I'm going to get this knife, this variation, and no, it's not going to be too good. It's just hit and miss across the board. Some are good, some are bad. Now, the great thing about Rough Rider is they offer a higher end knife. So this knife was $33. It's more of a traditional pattern, made in a traditional way, and it is absolutely fantastic. Fantastic knife. So you could take this knife and put it up against any other knife that you want to put it against, and it's going to hold its own. And there's a lot of great things to talk about with this knife. The liners is extra, and it's cool. The prop wood milling on this basket weave is fantastic. All the transitions are fantastic. I mean, this is just a remarkable knife, as is this knife. And you can easily make the case that this is a better knife than this knife right here, or at least equivalent. And that's the great part of a Rough Rider. If you want a better knife, pay a little bit more than $10, and you can get one. I had a comment from, I did a Rough Rider review, and one of the comments was a guy said, I was telling people just try them. And guy said, I did try them. I wasn't satisfied with the knife. And I tried another one, wasn't satisfied with that. And so I just won't be buying those anymore. Question I have is, did you buy a Rough Rider Reserve or a Rough Rider Black? Because these knives, I've got three. All three are fantastic knives. This is a Rough Rider Reserve. I did not break the bank with this. I think it was like $56, something like that. This one right here, same thing. Fantastic knife. No gaps, no problems, made perfectly. Looks fantastic. And, it can hold its own with any GEC, any case, or any other knife in the world for that matter. So here's a castrum. This is an expensive knife, and this would hold its own against this castrum right here. No problem whatsoever. And that's what you can get from Rough Rider if you so choose. If you want quality, you can still get that quality at an affordable price. That's the great thing about Rough Rider. So there is a lot of competition in the traditional knife market, not only within this country, but outside in the world. There's a lot of competition. Probably at least 25 different companies are producing slip joints now. Here's one here, a Kershaw, and this is an absolutely perfect knife. It is made in China, but absolutely perfect knife, beautiful knife, and very, very affordable. They MSRP for $40. I got this one for $23, I think, on sale. And it's just a fantastic knife. That's an option, competitive option to the Rough Riders. But to me, what the Rough Rider offers that other people don't is artistic expression. And so producing a knife like this is a bow trapper. You don't see very many people make bow trappers. Case does, but it's not always in production, and they're not always easy to get. But here you have a simulated tortoise turtle shell, and then a turtle shell shield, some pinch bolsters, and threaded bolsters, and a fantastic looking blade on that right there. And this is a good knife. So not a perfect knife, but this is the kind of thing you get from Rough Rider, and I call that artistic expression. And so that's what Rough Rider is great at offering. I love the look at this wasp knife. Since this knife has come out, other companies are reproducing this kind of look on the G10. And I think Rough Ryder was probably the first to do it. It's not the first layered G10 that came out. They've been doing that for years, but just this particular look, I think Rough Ryder was the first one to come out with it. A lot of guys don't like it. I love it. And again, it's artistic expression. It looks different. The blade profiles are a little different on Rough Ryders. That's really cool. So here's Roper. Roper produces a lot of knives, probably out of the same factory that makes Rough Ryder. I don't know that for certain, so don't quote me. But again, you have some really different blade geometry going on in these knives. If, the traditional knife is not working for you, this is a semi-traditional knife and has a little more expression. These queen knives, the China-made ones, all of these are China-made, and they're perfect, by the way. So I paid $11 for this knife, and it's absolutely fantastic. No problems with this knife whatsoever. It's absolutely incredible. But, if China's not your thing, here's a bunch of knives here. This is a fox knife made out in Italy, and it is a more modern interpretation, but it's a little, nice little pen knife. It has titanium scales, modern M390 steel, really nice, from Italy. No gapping in this knife, half stop, really nice knife right there. This knife from Mazarine has just an absolutely gorgeous bone jigged on there, really nice knife. And it is a pen knife, but it's a larger pen knife. I think it's around 3 inches. And really well-made knife and affordable. So this knife, I forget what I paid for it. I think I paid, I want to say 40, but I think these normally go around the $80 range. I may have gotten that on sale. Here's another one from Italy. And just a fantastic. Now this is a more modern one, but this is a fantastic knife. Titanium scales, M390 blade. It's a large knife. So it's along the lines of a trapper. Right there you can see. As far as its size. But that is just a fantastic knife. It's a modern interpretation of a slip joint, but extremely well made knife. And I got this for $80. Titanium. Look at the work bolsters. It's a crowned back spring. Just wonderful, wonderful work on this knife. So those are all options for you, if you don't dig China. But I think for the artistic, interesting expression of a knife build, yeah, you can't beat Rough Ryder, and that's really where Rough Ryder shines, as well as their higher end knives. So these are fantastic knives. You can get them in the $50 range. Some range up to $70, but a lot of them are in that $40, $50 range, and well worth the money you pay for them, if you're okay with a China-made knife. So that's my review on Rough Ryder. I like collecting them. Sometimes they have problems, but I'm not buying them because they're the best knife in the world. I'm buying them because they're kind of cool, right? And they're fun to collect. They don't break the bank. And when you can pay $10 for a knife and get this, I think that's kind of cool. It makes knife collecting fun. I don't have to worry about, remortgaging the house to buy one. So anyhow, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for checking in and checking it out. And we'll see you in the next video.